So the message from OPEC is that there has to be this dual investment mandate. We need to see investment into the fossil fuel industry to guarantee energy security and supply, but we also need to have investment in renewables to advance the energy transition. Is that realistic? Because the IEA says it's not.
Well, I couldn't agree more, actually. I think we do have to do both. So often I'm asked, what should we do, energy security or the transition? And they're not mutually exclusive. We have to do both. And by the way, if you care about the climate and energy transition, you have to worry about high prices and volatility, because if the public starts to equate high prices and volatility with climate action or energy transition policies, we're in big trouble. Because I know, at least in the U.S., I can't speak for other countries, but if you lose the public on something as existential as energy prices, you've lost them forever. So I think we have to be very careful here, and it's important that we manage the transition. One of the things Minister Al-Mazrui said yesterday that I thought was really interesting, he said that OPEC Plus has lost about 4 million barrels a day due to a lack of investment. So these are, some of the fringe countries that just couldn't invest during COVID and other things, and in order to keep the production flat. So he says it's 4 million barrels a day that's not coming back. And I think that's a lesson for everyone else, that we have to continue investing in hydrocarbons until we have these alternative technologies that's going to help us meet our 2050 goals.
Yeah, and it's fascinating as well, because OPEC is always talking about how this lack of investment in the fossil fuel sector could potentially cause market volatility and disruptions down the line. They make a really good point on that, but to a broader point, how are you assessing the trajectory of the market right now? We're seeing prices, sub 90 USD today, and we're on the cusp of this JMMC meeting, which, could ultimately give us some direction on what's going to happen in 2024 when it comes to OPEC's supply response.
Well, we're still in this strange tale of two markets. The physical markets are extremely tight. In fact, I think we're in a supply deficit. Between India and China alone, they're adding about 2 million barrels a day to demand in the second half of this year. We've already seen it in the third quarter. So we're definitely going to be in a supply deficit. So the physical markets are very tight. I think the paper markets are starting to price in still more trouble in China, renewed recession talk, mainly in the U.S., maybe even a hard landing in the U.S. And talking to different OPEC officials here, I know they're now paying attention to this renewed talk of a recession. So if that's the case, you're not going to see any kind of unwinding of cuts. I think they're going to want to be very proactive. And that's the difference, I think, from OPEC in the recent year or so versus 5 years ago. They're much more proactive. They used to be reactive and then wait and see if the policies can change. Now they're much more proactive. They want to be in front of events that may happen.